Hey everyone, my name is John Trent. I'm the editor-in-chief at Bounding Into Comics, and I'm joined by my co-host Spencer Bakuli.
Hey,
Hey, how's it going?
pretty good, pretty good.
We are back again for episode 3 of Mobile Fighter G Gundam, Beat the Dragon Gundam. Again, we got it looks like this is going to be a recurring theme here. We get the boxing announcer giving us the exposition in the beginning of this episode again, like we did in episode 2, and kind of
I
laying
like
out.
I like this moment of exposition though, because I like that little fourth wall break by Doman.
Oh yeah,
When
where
he
he,
like gave him the picture, and the announcer was like, I don't know."
yeah. They're mixing it up a little bit. There's like some small changes that they make, I guess, from the second episode. But they're definitely reusing a lot of the animation. But I still like it. I like how he sits on the globe. I like how or the Earth. I like how he takes the eye patch off and like fight.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then the fourth wall break you were talking about was nice too. But it lays the groundwork again, gives you a little bit of a refresher. If you haven't, if you're just joining, it kind of sets the stage. So that's actually kind of cool. I know people are always like, there's no episodic content. Well, this feels very episodic to me.
Oh yeah,
We're
definitely.
getting a different fight every time, but there also is this ongoing story arc where we're trying to figure out who this guy in the picture is, and Doman's trying to find him. We have no idea why. We do get a little.
It's kind of like what Script Doctor and Don talk about a lot on their Twitters and on Bounding Live, which is the Monster of the Week sort of storyline with an overarching plot line that goes over it. And that's what we kind of get here, Gundam of the Week, but there's clearly, a bigger plot going on.
Yeah, and I kind of like that a lot. I like this is kind of like where I wanted the Mandalorian to be a little bit, where you have the overarching plot throughout, but then you have and it makes sense. Like it's instead of like where the Mandalorian struggled, where it would kind of go off on these tangents, and you didn't really understand why he was going why he was going to certain places, or like what this adventure was going. Like we know he has it, and they laid it out to us right here in this episode, like why he's been going to certain spots. In the third episode, and we knew that he, like, even from the first episode, we knew his goal was to find this person. In this picture that he'd been showing. They reiterated that in the second one. We got it in this one, and then they like gave us a little checklist of what other places he's going, so we can kind of expect where to go in the future. So that kind of roadmaps like at least the next two episodes. But kind of focusing back on this one, I did like I thought the animation was really cool in the beginning there, where we got to see these like very sci-fi like gangster ships, like the ship's gangs. What are they called? The Kokuri gang?
Something, I think that,
And I liked how they connected and they formed the Chinese dragon. And I was like, oh,
the dragon arm.
That was so cool. And it was just like, holy.
Yeah, that was one of the coolest, like, I don't know, things I could have imagined.
Yeah, it was very reminiscent to me of like Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, where they created the shield. And obviously that was for a defensive structure. But in this one, it's like they're using it to attack and like sow fear. And it's not only like they're attacking each other, but then they create this like bigger thing just to like instill fear in the populace as well. So that dragon is like, instead of like, they've kind of manipulated that dragon symbol that's like a symbol of pride, and they've turned it into a symbol of fear.
Right.
So yeah, I really like that. I thought that was cool. I like the color scheme on Saichi, I think is his name. Yeah, the yellow and the green, very Iron Fist like.
Definitely.
Shaolin monk as well. I kind of like the Shaolin monks. It was interesting.
Do too.
Yeah, so again, we got this little bit of like the superpowers going on.
With the wind swirling.
Yeah, they're like they both like combined and like turned into a tornado, and then like whoosh, like showed up. I thought that was really cool. And then it looked like Sai kind of had that little bit of like wind manipulation. It's almost like he's a wind avatar. or not a wind avatar, but like a wind user.
Bender.
Windbender, yeah. Because he like when he's talking to Doman when they're plotting to raid the gang's hideout that they're using the Great Wall of China for, he's like levitating in the air, like
just like sitting.
And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Keeping himself at Doman's level.
Yeah. I liked his personality. I liked that he was like kind of quirky. He did things his own way. He wouldn't tell you what he was up to, which I found interesting. I also liked how he had the this is like such an anime trope where he's a traveling chef.
Right.
Seven Deadly Sins with what's his name? Where he has the restaurant, he travels around.
And then like Sanji in One Piece.
Yeah, so I like that a lot. And then they're all like commenting on, like, I just like the little nuances where he's like, "Oh, can I be your chef?" And they're like, "Yeah." And then the next thing you hear is like, "Man, that guy can really cook." And like, eating the
like he can back it up.
Yeah,
I kind of liked how he kept calling Doman bro.
Yeah,
I don't know. I thought that was so out of place for China, but I thought it worked for Saichi's character.
Yeah, so like, yeah, I guess for that, I kind of like, I mean, it's in the future, right? So there's like Neo-China colonies, and then so like I don't know, the vernacular would change. It's just the 80s. I just felt that was very 80s, bro. Yeah. I like that. Yeah, I really liked his character. I like that he was quirky. I like that he would just go. He would like. You thought like at least Doan was like, "Why are you betraying me?" And then he's like kind of like pissed off at him, and then he's like in the prison, and the guy's like, "Oh, I'm freeing you. Like you can trust me." And then like right after that, he's like, "He's getting away!" And I was just like, "Oh, that was great." Like it had some good humor and levity to it.
Definitely
in this episode, which I kind of like. I kind of like that a little bit. I did think again, like the last episode, the Gundam fight climax was a little anticlimactic.
Definitely. I thought this one was better than the last one though, because I liked how Doman, started up the first Shining Finger and missed, because it was like the illusion by the flag. And then of course, ultimately Doman loses because of the ponytail actually wrapped around his neck.
Yes. Well, I don't know if he really loses. They draw. I think they say.
They tell him not to keep going.
Yeah, because he's got the shining finger attack on the Dragon Gundam, but the Dragon Gundam also has the tail like that right at his throat. Again, we got some cool. I think the Dragon Gundam is a really cool design. I like how it's got like the dragon like arms and they like come out. And then they actually like that. I thought this was a little bit of an issue with the animation. We saw like the one go out and then it come up and like shot the fire, which I was like, oh, that's awesome. Right. But then where was the other one? I was like, where's the other one? Like it should be shooting fire too, like from behind or whatever. And like I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of that and have
more examples of his special powers.
Yeah, or stuff that like pushes Doman to try and like actually show some a little bit more strategy maybe while fighting in the Gundam. I guess we got that a little bit where he has to really focus and figure out where the Dragon Gundam is because he's using this kind of like illusion tech or something, it seems like.
Yeah, looks like it.
Yeah, with the flags, and then he's like moving really fast, which also like goes into the Shaolin monk technology. Yeah. Like, and I like how that kind of applied to the Gundam as well. So you got the tornado people and you couldn't see them because they were just whoosh. And then the Gundam's like whoosh. So I thought that part I liked about it, but I did feel like it was a little anticlimactic. I would have seen a little bit more of the fights. That's why I'm watching Gundam. I want to see Gundam fights,
Of course.
Let's see what else I have here. Oh, we got Rain. We got see more of her again. Every episode she's getting a new skill, or they're showing us a new skill that she has this time.
This time we actually had a little reversal because Doman's actually the one who saves her. Not from the nice monks, but from the gang in the beginning.
Yeah. She does. And then after the aftermath of that one gang fight, I guess in the very first one where they're terrorizing the town, she's taking care of of the villagers there and like bandaging them up and putting them in casts and stuff. So we get to see her as like a medic too. But yeah, he does get to jump in and save her. If you remember from the first episode, she saves him with the Kirby, the Kirby gum thing,
Kirby
like
bubble.
shield. Yeah, the Kirby bubble. And then she saves him again in the second episode when she's like we get to see how of an expert sharpshooter she is. When Doman is like weakened by what was his name? Crockett. Crickety. Was it Crickety? Chibity, yeah. Chibity Crockett, yeah. And he was weakened, and these big CIA guys or whatever were gonna come and like finish him off, and then she shows up and like saves him there. So yeah, we did get to see him play the savior there, which was nice. There were some cool animations. We got to see both like in the beginning there was like he used his legs and it was like rapid,
super fast.
Yeah, the like super like rapid leg attack. It was very Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
And then later on he did like a punch attack that was similar to that too.
Yeah, he did it later in the end.
Yeah,
he did both of them. I was a little disappointed by those two moments, just because in the last couple episodes we've seen Doman like jump off tables and flip and actually, see the full choreography of his fights. And this time I felt like we were robbed just a little bit.
Yeah, I do. I agree. I completely agree with you on that. Hold on, I'm sending out a tweet.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Because I remember, like, what was it? We did get some like pretty cool animation last episode where it was almost like the punch was like coming through the screen. And then obviously the first episode had like fantastic animation and really good fight choreography. Where this one we didn't really get to see a lot of that. I know last episode I really liked how the Gundam kind of they switched back and forth between the Gundam and and Doman, and they were mimicking each other's moves, and we didn't really get to see that a lot. I think there was like one moment where we saw that with Sai, where he suits up into his Gundam, and then we get like a still shot of the Gundam in his like pose after he's like suited up or whatever.
We also see it when Doman closes his eyes to see where Sai-Chi is, but it's not like a lot of animation. It's literally just the same frame blurred, trying to focus in on him.
Yeah. So yeah, you can definitely see where there's some cost cutting going on with the animation. I thought story wise, I thought it was pretty good. It was decent. It wasn't as
all right.
I mean, the first episode was so good, so it's like they set a bar so high. They set a really high bar with that first episode, and this one, I like, again, it was a different vibe because you got the comedic stuff with Sai. I love the little guitar where they're kind of walking to the Great Wall of China. I love I'm loving that that music that this show has. Every episode has had fantastic music, kind of setting that tone of the place and the aesthetic of where he's at. One of the big issues I had was, and maybe they'll explain this later, but like, where in the world did the Shining Gundam come from? It all of a sudden pops out at the base there. Like that's before he's like had it in a certain location and had to go there.
Yeah, because when we first meet Doman and Rain, they're just in the burning village.
Yeah.
In the car, and then he kind of just brings it out of nowhere. We don't even know why they're there technically. Or I guess because they're on the list, but
Neo China's on the list, and he's looking for that guy to see if Sai-Chi knows about him, and then or anyone knows about him. He's trying to figure out anyone, but it's mainly like the Gundam fighters, I guess, because I'm assuming that the assumption for me right now is this guy was a Gundam fighter too, because he's asking all the other Gundam fighters.
That's what it seems like. I'm wondering if he's the previous pilot for Japan, maybe like a mentor or a friend.
Yeah. That's brother, what it seems. Or maybe like a nemesis, because I was confused from the last episode. Remember, they were in that bar scene, and he was like, I'm gonna beat him or whatever he said, but it was unclear if he was talking about the guy in the photo or if he was talking about Crockett.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's probably more likely it's a mentor or some kind of father figure or friend type of character.
Mm-hmm.
I just I think what else do I got here? Yeah, if Shining Gundam came out of nowhere.
One thing I noticed, I don't know if you saw, but at the very beginning when the announcer was giving the rundown of what a Gundam fight or the Gundam battles are, at the very beginning when he says wars are no longer, they don't exist, you could see some of the old Zaku mobile suits from like the original series kind of floating by, kind of showing that those were the basis for the G Gundams.
Oh, yeah, I missed that. That's really cool.
I just noticed it, like looking and went, hey, I noticed that. I know that design.
Yeah, that is. I didn't see that. I'll have to go back and look at that. Oh, we got Don in the house. Thanks for joining us, Don.
Hey, Don.
Ironcaster is here. Feel free to chime in the chat. Tell us what you thought about the episode as well. We'd love to interact with y'all. One of the things I thought was really interesting is that that it was kind of weird. Like it was when after they're like rescuing these people, it seems like he doesn't actually want to go into the Gundam fight against Sai Chi with the Shaolin monks. Whereas like last episode, he was like, dude, I gotta fight this guy.
Yeah.
And he knocks out his competitor, like infiltrates the boxing match, and then like fights him.
So yeah, I don't know why he didn't have that kind of fury at Sai Chi from the beginning.
Yeah, and it seemed like the only reason why he was doing it was to kind of protect Rain. But then I don't know. That was just kind of like an odd moment for me there. For there, it's like, all right, why wouldn't you just go beat the crap out of those guys and like free Rain and like who cares about their threats? Like
just beat Doman Kashi. We know you can kick ass.
Yeah, he doesn't need to be blackmailed to do a Gundam fight. We saw that he wanted to go after Crockett.
I thought that was really funny though, when they take her by the neck and they're like, meet us here, and he just goes, see you there. Just turns away and drives off.
Yeah, and then she's like,
get out of here.
Are you guys done now? And then they're like, oh, sorry. But I guess I was going for a comedic moment, and it was a little funny, but it was just kind of odd characterization, I guess.
I get that it was sort of trying to show like they're still monks deep down, but then it doesn't make sense why Rain would just let herself get captured like that.
True. Yeah, and then the fact that they're blackmailing Doman in the first place was strange.
Could have just asked him, knowing Doman. Oh, I guess they didn't know who he was.
They knew he was a Gundam fighter, though, and then
that's as far as they knew.
And I guess they did ask him in the beginning, and he was like, "No, I'm not going to do that." And then they're like, "Will you now?" After they put the knife to her throat, and then, but then later in the episode, they after he's like fighting the like right at the climax of the fight with the Dragon Gundam. The monks are the ones who actually distract him and allow Sai Chi to get I guess so you get that he gets the knife to his throat where she did earlier, and then they're like right next to her like distracting Doman because he thinks like he needs to protect Rain as well in that moment where he's like actually going to try and protect her where he didn't before, which was kind of odd too though. But I don't think I didn't take as many notes on this one. It
was a pretty straightforward episode, even though the characters were really unique and they had their own distinct personalities. It's still a very basic land here, get captured, get tricked by somebody storyline.
Yeah, and it worked. It worked well. I still think that the biggest problem for me is going to be like that first episode was so good.
Yeah,
they set the bar so high. I'm like, all right.
They set the bar so high, and it had such a different tone from these episodes. Because with Chibity and Saichi, he really is kind of more of a rival, like especially to Chibity, and he's just trying to get the information. But in that first episode, it seemed like the world was on the brink of destruction. That the Gundam fighters were landing and causing new problems, and that there would just be this all-out, not war, but way more Gundam battles. And it seems like we're not getting that so far.
Yeah, the Gundam battles are really quick. They're over in like, I don't know, less than a minute. I feel like they go by like super fast. Whereas the first one we got I thought we got like seemed like it was like a 5 minute plus good long, lengthy battle. With the Neros Gundam, and then we haven't gotten that since. But yeah, I think you're right. I mean, we did get a little bit more of like how the Gundams are causing havoc here. So like in America, they have a different view on the Gundams. They see Crockett as a man of the people who rose up, became a hero, and they like revere him and see like, hey, if he can do it, we can do that too. And he's kind of like an inspirational story. In Italy, it's thugs running it. The guy who is actually the Gundam pilot, I think his name is Chariot, I believe. He is, he's a thug, Sicilian gangster type character, like dominating people with his thugs, threatening them, and just doing horrible things, kidnapping little children. And then in China here, in Neo China, it's a mistake. So like Sai Chi like loses his Gundam on entry, which is kind of like I don't know if I really buy that. Like to me, it seemed like they were. I guess like they. I don't know. I guess when they show the stars, it's like one thing. So I just assume they're in the Gundam landing.
Yeah, we haven't even seen like Doman or Chibity and Chariot. They didn't have a separate sort of landing pod. I mean, Doman has the car, but I always assumed that was sort of attached to his Gundam and just fell off to use.
Yeah. Well, maybe. So like that's what I was thinking, like, because he uses that to transform or into his like shining Gundam. So maybe it somehow is like remote activates the Gundam to show up or something. I don't know. That's just how I was like headcanoning it, because it was weird how it just popped out of nowhere. But getting back to the Gundam, and I just blanked. Yeah, I got myself off topic there. Oh yeah, we were talking about them going down to the planet. So yeah, he does have the ship, but we see in the intro where they all come down, and it looks like it's just one thing and it's not separated. But then with this one, it's like, oh, he somehow separated from his Gundam while landing, and it's like, what did you do? Push the eject button or something once you got in the atmosphere? Like,
yeah, right. Why and why?
Yeah. But I do.
It's also kind of crazy to me that there's no sort of like lock system on the Gundam, because it just landed and then that thug was able to use it. Right,
but we also know that there is, because remember in the first episode, the Shining Gundam puts that huge like shield up and like hides it, and then he hides it in the Statue of Liberty in
in America
in the second episode. Yeah. But like you were saying, there was no lock. Well, remember the guy steals his like little chariot thing too.
That's right, yeah.
But then he gets it. He gets it back after he recaptures it from the base.
Yeah.
So I'm getting a little bit feedback. I can hear myself.
Oh no.
I don't know if that's just me or what. All right. Don can inform us if the audio is off. We'll wait for him in the chat there. But yeah, I think this is a pretty decent episode. I'm looking forward to the next one. It's called Challenge the Red Rose Knights. Looks like we're going to France.
With the very classic 80s anime hair design where it just goes all the way straight out.
Oh, yeah.
France fighter.
Oh, yeah. So let's just kind of get into some... Yeah, Don's saying the audio is echoing. I think maybe your headphones are messing up. Yeah, it's you. You muted yourself. Well, so let me just ask you a couple questions here, like we kind of do. DJ Drastic is telling us the next one is a two-parter. I know they talked about France and Russia, so that should be fun. And then, but let me ask you, what was your favorite part of this episode?
My favorite part of this episode was probably, I really liked the beginning with the announcer.
Okay.
Just he's so far probably my favorite character. And then barring that, I really liked seeing the dragon arm, just the car and the way it worked and how they all linked up and then made a different weapon. That was probably the coolest part for me.
So I think the spaceships were different than the Gundam, because the Gundam had the dragon arms, and then there were the spaceships that formed the dragon in the beginning.
Oh, I didn't realize that it was making a separate dragon. I thought it was making the arm. Either way, still really cool.
Yeah, I think so. Like in the beginning, when they were terrorizing the town, they were all in these little like yellow space pods, and then they like formed up, and they formed the dragon, and then the Dragon Gundam has dragon arms that he like deployed as like wrist type.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought the dragon arm was that dragon, so it kind of like slid back into the Gundam frame.
I think they were I don't know. I think the spaceships were different. Maybe.
I trust you because that seems right.
I think my favorite part, like I know how I kind of criticized it a little bit here, but my favorite part was Sai Chi letting Doman out of the prison and then being like, he's escaping. I just thought that was hilarious.
That was a really good part.
And then the facial reaction on Doman is like, oh crap. Like this guy is what is
he's
this
just like,
guy
I
doing?
can't believe I got tricked again. Like, are you serious?
Yeah. So I like that a lot. And that was really showed Sai Chi's character and his personality. And he's kind of like a prankster and kind of
like a child, yeah.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
We've got Ironcaster in the chat. Yeah, asking what's your favorite suit so far?
I think I like the Shining Gundam the most right now. I liked as far as like what the I'm gonna mute you real quick because I can hear the feedback. As far as the actual like the Shining Gundam feels like it's just like a one-trick pony with the shining fingers, and that's kind of a letdown right now. And I hope we get to see some more cool stuff, especially given all the other Gundams have cool stuff. But as we got
to see the little head guns today.
Yeah, he did use the head guns again, like he did in Neros, and I think he did that a little bit with Chibity. But I think as far as like cool gadgets and stuff, I like Crockett's, like the skateboard, and then the shoulder pads like popping up, and then him like going into like the boxer Gundam, and then so I like that. But yeah, I think my favorite design, like aesthetic look, is the Shining Gundam, because that's kind of it's very when you think of Gundam, you think of like it looks very reminiscent of like what a archetypal Gundam suit looks like.
White colored with the yellow crest, blue shoulders,
and some red in there. Yeah. Oh yeah. I think that's just what I think of when I think of an archetypal Gundam suit. What about you?
Definitely still Chibity. I'm still a fan of all of his gadgets. I really wish we got to see the skateboard more. I hope we do see it more. And of course, I'm still a fan of the boxing glove shoulder pads.
And his football shoulder pads. Yeah. So we talked about best. We talked about favorite suits. What was your worst part of this episode?
Worst part of this episode, probably again just how quick the actual Gundam fight was over.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that. I did really like how there was like some strategy involved, and you had to see him focus. And then I liked how he did get eventually like outwitted by the Shaolin monks who distracted him. And I like that the strategy outlook, because we didn't really get to see a lot of that in the last episode, where it was just like straight to the face. But yeah, I think there could have been some like a lot of cooler stuff going on. I would just like to see the fight a little more drawn out, just a little bit more to it. Aside from that, though, I think the characterization on the gang, we didn't really get to know them. Their motivations are like, obviously they're just a criminal gang. I like the guys,
just a run of the mill gang.
Yeah, I like the guy's design. He has like the dragon like cloak, and then
The costume head.
And then he used it as a weapon to like tie Doman up. I thought that was really cool. But we didn't really get to know anything more about him. And I would assume that they're still there, and they still have those spaceships though, so they could still
they didn't they escaped. After they like Saichi and Doman escaped, they didn't do anything. They didn't go back and stop them. They went and did their Gundam fight.
Yeah, so a little bit of a loose end there. I doubt we'll see them again though. I feel like they were just kind of run of the mill like gangsters, and they're one and done. But I like the designs of all their. I think they do a really good job of all the different gangster designs, like in Neros, kind of where we got all the different designs for those guys, and these guys had some cool, unique designs too. All right, well, last words.
Just great episode. Obviously, we're still getting to know, it looks like our principal cast of characters. I don't know how many will return. I feel like Saichi's gotta, Chibity's gotta, maybe Chariot, and maybe the gang leader from this episode will come back, but it seems like we're still building to the overarching plot. So I'm excited to see what happens when we go to France and Russia next.
Yeah, no one has died in any of the Gundam fights. They've all survived to live another day, fight another day. So they all have potential to show up in the future. But yeah, I think that's what I'm looking forward to too. The French guy looks very interesting. I'm excited to see what role he plays. And I'm actually really excited to learn more about the photo and who the guy in the photo is. And if we'll finally...
we got to start getting some answers to that, because it's been 3 episodes and we have no idea who he is, what he is, why he's wanted.
Yeah, so hopefully we get a little bit more on that. So I'm looking forward to that too. And that episode is called Challenge the Red Rose Knights, and we will be reviewing that next Friday. We usually do 4 to 4:30. We're a little late today. We aim for 4, but sometimes I get caught up editing and I don't get to watch until, because I like to watch like right before I go on stream, so it's like really fresh in my mind, and there's nothing else kind of distracting me, so I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, 4 to 4:30, and we do that every Friday, and then we also have our live stream on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Bounding Live, where Spencer joins us, and we have a full panel where we talk about the biggest headlines of the week. So we got a lot going on there. So make sure you, if you haven't already catch up. You can, like Spencer, you can watch on Blu-ray, which I think you could probably purchase from Amazon or other retailers, or you can watch like me, where I stream on Crunchyroll. All right. Well, thank you all, and hope you guys have a good day, and we will see you next Wednesday, if not before then.
Yep. See you guys all then.